many years.
Sure.
And all that time, your values and your Methodism have really informed the way in which you run the festival and contribute to peace. And I wanted you to talk about that as we're having a dialogue at the university with people from all different religions, including the World Methodists.
Right.
And you started with Methodism very, very early.
Well, I started when I was 3, and my father was a preacher, and my mother was a teacher, and they were very keen Methodists, and so that we all went to the chapel, the Methodist chapel in Pilton, to the Sunday school on Sundays, I mean, we were indoctrinated, I would say, by the doctrine of John Wesley, the link between religion and socialism, so that there had to be a purpose to our lives that was based really on the social responsibility and to humanity. So I had that from the age of 3, and so I was a great believer, in the Christian message.
And for you, that Christian message has been very much about peace. And when we first knew each other 40 years ago, of course, we were involved in anti-nuclear work. And now, again, we're having to worry about war.
Well, we certainly are. I mean, it's more threatening now than it has been through all that time, Dan, I reckon, don't you?
I do, yes.
It's more dangerous. It's more dangerous now than it was 30, 40 years ago, even.
I think so. And of course,
when the CND movement was so strong in those days, in the 70s, that we were all part of.
Yes.
And that you were the leader of, in fact, weren't you?
Well, one of them, yes, when we first got together. Of course, now we're trying hard to build energy again. And I wondered if you got a message. You're very keen on the next generation, the TNG, as you call it, whether or not what you would say to young people today, because, of course, you spent a lot of your life and a lot of the festival supporting peace activities, Greenpeace, CND, Oxfam.
Well, I just hope that the young people, I think young people got it on board, don't you? And that they are concerned and they are worried about the future of the world through the eyes of Putin and Donald Trump and co. You know what I mean?
It has scared people again.
There's a big, there's a lot of fear about the future, I think. And it never has there been a better reason to campaign for peace than now.
Yes, we're of course trying to get a new initiative at the UN to move these things forward. But as we're talking to different religions, how for you does Wesley's message about peace inform the way in which you go about how you run the festival and your daily life? Because Wesley has a great deal to say about peace, doesn't he?
Well, it's certainly. I've been steered by the views of John Wesley through the whole of my life, basically, and we go to chapel on Sundays and we sing the hymns and all that kind of thing. But there is a fundamental truth to the John Wesley message that runs right through the whole of the Christian doctrine. And so that's why it works for me. And it's been effective in all the things that I've done. My social housing have been has been a huge part of my life, setting that up. And the festival is run, hopefully, on fundamental Christian principles, but it might not be fundamentally obvious all the time. But that's what's driving me at night and day. The whole of my life is actually driven by those principles I was weaned on by John Wesley, and they're more effective now. And I think that they're more meaningful now than they ever were, And I think the world is becoming more and more dangerous now with these big players that are all playing a more pivotal role, and it is decidedly more dangerous than it was in the 70s.
Yes, I agree. I mean, as you know, my late mother was a Quaker, and so they're quite close to the Methodists, and we shared in our background very similar values when you and I first worked together 40 years ago, and it was kind of you to say nice things about how we worked together then.
Yeah, that was great. Well, you're a great help to me then, Dan, and I mean, you're doing your job now. Campaigning for world peace, which is really, really so important. And so let's hope that you can become successful in that sphere.
Well, we'll do our best. Talk to me about saving bacon, and as you know, I got my checkbook out once or twice in those days as well. But now, of course, there are many more religions active in Britain and around the world, and I think at the festival we see people coming in from different faiths, and the festival seems to be very, very inclusive in that way.
Yeah, I do hope so. Yeah, but we're all fundamental believers in the fundamental truths of the views of John Wesley, which are quite they're universal, basically, aren't they? They really are, and the future of life, I mean, as we know it, it depends on those values being upheld. I mean, I'm a firm believer in that.
Yes, and hopefully what we can do together to push forward this new initiative with the UN will help do that, and hopefully you and I can continue to work on that.
Yeah, fantastic, Dan. Thank you very much.
Well, thanks very much for joining us, Michael. Thanks a lot.